Awesome, man. Welcome to another episode of the Blueprints to Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Hugh Berry, and this is my guest here today, one of my good friends, super cool guy. Super cool guy, man.
Apparently.
And yeah, man, I just decided to bring you on here because you've been up to some trouble lately, man. You've been pounding the pavement, right? You've been dropped them pounds, you achieving those goals. So brought you on here to share your story, share what you've been up to.
Okay.
And pretty much like I want to just reiterate, this podcast is not about fitness, but I believe fitness is a great parallel to success. And fitness can literally everything you learn from fitness, everything you learn from pushing yourself the extra mile can help you in every single area of your life. And that's why I brought you on here, because you've been doing, you literally transformed yourself, right? Literally transformed yourself. So brought you on here to share your story, share what you've been doing, and hope. I know for a fact that people can learn a lot from what you've been up to. First, though, introduce yourself, man.
Yeah. My name is Michael Paul, also known as Michael D Flash. I am a DJ out of Orlando, Florida. And I do want to appreciate you for letting me come on your podcast and everything like that, because I really see you kind of doing the thing and really trying to kind of shed some light on really kind of getting people going. I think it's a great thing. I think I've been on that discovery. I've been always trying to improve on that. I do appreciate us like focusing on the fitness aspect of things, but you can attribute like the changes that I've done to kind of almost anything. But foundationally, it's always yourself. And the more you can expand yourself, then that means the more you can expand in other areas. So I found that fitness has been fundamental to my success.
So like, what exactly? All right. So I know what you've been up to, but they don't know what you've been up to. So like, share what you've been up to. Share like why you decided to embark on that journey, and like what pushed you every single day, pushes you every single day. How do you stay motivated?
Okay.
Consistent in doing your, day in and day out.
Yeah. I mean, I'll try to sum it up pretty short, not to like take up too much people's time, but basically it really stemmed from COVID. Like it was like, so COVID happened, it literally just happened. And then I had just like moved into my own place at the time. And then I just kind of felt that I wasn't like doing my best. And I just like was like I'm alone. I wasn't living with anybody at the time. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of been stuck at home. It was like maybe 2 weeks into COVID. And then I found myself like eating the most trash food that you can, processed foods you can. And I'm like, damn, I hate the way I feel, the way I look. Like I'm not happy. I'm not. And so then I was like, I need to do something. So then I fell upon this program called 75 Hard. I know you've probably spoken about this on your podcast, but basically I just needed something simple to follow that would kind of get me going. Because I've always like kind of hit the gym, but I never was consistent. So the consistency part is because I was always looking at when to stop. And I felt that the reason why I'm successful now is because now it's part of my life that I want to work out every day. So I do at least 45 minutes a day, whether that be like walking, running, or do something like that, or hit the gym. But I found that doing that and not looking to stop or looking for days off in general, I probably like tone it down on certain days. But I felt that like it felt easier to work out because I'm doing it every day, regardless of how I feel.
Okay, what was the goal though? Like you said it was COVID.
Yeah.
You let yourself go. You started eating trash food.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people could relate to that. I know I can.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
everybody was stuck inside pretty much. So
So basically, you couldn't go out to get food, right? And then this is like the very beginning, so nothing was really readily available. I was going to 7-Eleven that was under my building, and then I was buying mac and cheese like 2 days in a row. I was like, this ain't it. So then so then I just switched up. I followed this diet plan. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna have no cheat meals for 75 days. I'm gonna do 2 workouts a day and things like that. And just stay consistent. And what I liked about the program was like, if you missed a day, you had to start over. So I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
like
man,
let me
intense, boy.
well, yeah, let me see if I can make it through. So like I messed up like a few times, but then I started saying like, you know what, I'm not gonna create any excuses. I don't care regardless how I feel, and then I'm gonna make sure I get it done. So it started off slow. Started off like just me walking.
And I can relate to that because I know I'm familiar with 75 hard. Like
Yeah.
I was the same time
Mhm.
I was completing it while you were going at it. I was going at it too, and like it does help you. I could see literally the transformation because it does help you implement those principles in your life. Where hey, if you mess up, you got to start from day one now.
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, I'm not trying to mess up. Like you literally stay up to not mess up and get your reading done, all that stuff. And we done that. We done that challenge multiple times.
Mhm.
And like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like the person that started the challenge, the person that ended the challenge, totally different person. Like
Yeah.
that's sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
So you were eating bad, gain weight.
Mhm.
You were like, man, I need to change, do something different.
Yeah.
So you started the challenge 75 hard.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to, okay, you said you lost some weight. Like you weren't at the body that you want. You didn't have the body that you wanted.
Yeah.
What did you do to get that going? Like what?
So the thing is like I'm gonna be straight up. I hated working out. I think most of the time, like 90% of the time that I like wake up, I don't want to do it. But then I started understanding the fact of like going through that 75 hard process, which was the 75 days. But now it's like I do this for my life. So regardless of how I feel, which most of the time I don't feel like doing, and to be honest, the only real difference between successful people and unsuccessful people are literally just the ones that actually just do it.
Do it. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how you motivate yourself, because some days I pick it off of like, oh, like I want to do better for me. Cool. Other days there's like, oh, like I have my haters, like they want to see me like fail, or they don't want to see me succeed, so I'll do it for that, which is ridiculous. It doesn't matter. The point is you need to get the job done. You show up every day, however it could be for your kids, it could be for your parents, it could be for anything you want. The point is showing up every day. You know what I'm saying? Get the job done. So, you know, some days you're definitely gonna like, you're not gonna want to do it. You're gonna try to talk yourself out of it. Your mind's gonna play tricks on you. There's times where I was like falling asleep walking on treadmills just to get the workouts done, you know.
And it's crazy because you would think that only happens in fitness, but no, it happens with everything. Like
Correct.
you got a deadline to meet, you don't want to do it.
Correct.
You know, like the thing about, it's funny when you said like difference between unsuccessful people and successful people. Successful people, they do things even when they don't feel like doing it.
Correct.
Unsuccessful people do things only when they feel like doing it.
Yeah.
And you already know that 90% of the time you do not feel like doing it. So it's crazy. If you want to think about it like this, unsuccessful people are only doing what they're supposed to be doing 10% of the time.
Yeah. I think the misconception there is like they think that those people that are like the fittest or like or the most successful in their transformation or whatever they're doing, that they don't get those thoughts. No, everybody gets those thoughts.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. You get those thoughts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the point is like, the more consistent you are, then that means you can shut that part of like that little voice in your head that's trying to like stop you from like really like going after those goals, you know? And it's better to break it and do it every day. Like, you know, some days, like there was times where like, oh, I feel motivated. So I go do a 2-3 hour workout. But then there's times where I barely can do the 45 minutes. And as soon as I get my 45 minutes, at least I check that off for the day. I did that. I'm done. Cool. And then like it just switches. Some days were just goal based on time. Other days were just like, let me just make it through. I could barely do it. It was get the job done. That's literally the
So my other question is, how did you stay consistent? Because that is the number one thing.
Yeah.
Like, in order to see results, you have to be, for the most part, consistent.
Yeah. I gamified it. So basically, learning from the 75 hard, you do the 75 days and then we'll kind of take a break a little bit and then maybe do it again. But then I was like, I need to do this long term. So I was like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. Like, I'm just trying to stay consistent and then like use like my phone. Like, you don't have to do these things. These are not necessities in a sense, but I needed something to like, I could keep a streak alive. Like, I love playing video games and everything like that. So as long as I could keep a streak, like I could tell, like once you see those numbers and you're like, oh, I'm 28 days in, I don't want to cut that off, or I'm 100 days in, I don't want to mess that up. You know, it gives you another added benefit of a motivation. And if you kind of visually start marking things off, like maybe put a piece of paper or something when you're walking out your door and you're like, you know what, I don't feel like working out, but I need to check this off. You know, I think that's very like critical. Like and I learned this from reading the book Atomic Habits. You know, another big thing is like between the fitness is making things easier for you. Like when they tell you prepare for your day the day before, laying your clothes out. Cool. I do that. But then I also make sure like I have a gym bag in my car. So it's like a go-to.
Just in case.
Like,
yeah.
Like I'm running out of time. Life is happening the way it always does. Traffic jams, whatever. But then I'm like, you know what? I could park here and then go for a run or go for a walk, or I could find a park and whatever, get the job done. Point is get resourceful and then get the job done. You know?
And that kind of stems into excuses.
Yeah.
Like when people make excuses about why they can't get the results they want. Like I'm not gonna sit here and play like I never made excuses in my life. Like I know what it feels like to be someone who makes excuses. And I know that when you make excuses, there's always that thought in the back of your head that you know that you're full of it. Like, hey, you're lying to yourself. You knew you could have done that extra push-up or the extra, you could have worked out today, but you decided not to. You know what I'm saying? You had the time, but you decided not to do it.
And it comes in different forms.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like let's assume there's like a day like you pumped, you did all the work, like you even did a little extra. Then the next day is like, oh no, you got to show up again and do it again. And then you're like, oh no, but I did the work yesterday. No. That's not how that works. You do what you're supposed to do and you do it, you know?
And that kind of reminds me, it's like to be successful, you got to understand that just because you did the work today, that work doesn't carry into tomorrow's work.
Exactly.
You got to start over from zero again.
Exactly. Like
it's crazy. Everybody who's done anything, anybody who's like had results in their life, understand this at a level, at some type of level, that every single day you start from zero.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day you start from zero. Just because you went to the gym a week, 2 weeks in a row, doesn't mean that you're not going to start from zero this week.
Yeah.
Every single day you start from zero. So that is very profound.
Yeah, it's absolutely showing up. I mean, like different excuses. Like I just told myself that as long as I'm not in a hospital bedridden, I'd get the job done. Like there was times where like when I first started 75 hard and I first started running, I didn't know anything about running. I never was a runner.
I was literally gonna get into that. Go ahead.
But I'll transition into that. So I started running just to see what I could do. So basically, I never had running shoes, so I was running in basketball shoes. Started getting blisters. My feet were bleeding. But guess what? I had to show up the next day for my 45-minute workout, and I had to be outside. There'd be times where I'm getting rained on. Sometimes it was super cold. Like it didn't matter. I had to that's part of that 75-hour program, which was great because then I was like, yeah, there's no such thing as excuses. You know, you you really had to get resourceful and get the job done. So
you got me. It's funny because I'm not a runner. You know what I'm saying? I would do like a half a mile.
Yeah.
A half a mile here, half a mile there.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm the type of person I don't back down from no challenge, man. I see this guy over here. He's running like 5 miles, 6 miles, 7 miles a day.
Yeah.
One time I seen him run like 8+ miles a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start running because this guy's not gonna lap me. I don't play. I'm like, nah, this guy ain't gonna lap me. So I started running too.
Yeah.
And I always told myself I was never a runner. I hate running.
Yeah.
I hate it. But I love what it does for me, what it gives me.
Yeah.
Especially this is what I learned. Like, I never started running. The only reason why I started running because I saw you running. And I'm like, there's something here that I'm missing. Yeah. And once I started running, it unlocked a different type of mental, fortitude, mental toughness. It really did. Because, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Talk about,
man, there's so
the
much
benefits of running, the parallels of running and
there's so much you can go into that. For my whole transformation, it honestly fascinated people, my physicalness. Other people were like, oh my God, what the heck were you doing? This is crazy. I was just running during COVID and doing the home workouts because we couldn't go to the gyms and stuff like that. But then recently I started incorporating the gym and higher weights and everything like that and actually being consistent because already laid down with this foundation of discipline that I already kind of been doing the 75 hard, which then really took my body to another level. But the point was I was just more proud of the mental aspect, the level of mental clarity. I could speak a lot better. I can think a lot better. I showed up to work with a different mentality. I can solve more problems. I started becoming more of a leader to my team. And when I used to just kind of play the background, I'm like, man, I'm just going to cash this check. No, then it started becoming taking more responsibilities. And then, and it just started really pouring into different things, on the mental aspect. Then I just started after, cool. The physical was cool. And it was nice to get compliments and everything like that because it's such a transformation. I was maybe 245 pounds when I started this, really. And then I got below 200. And then, which was the first time I did that since I was in elementary school. I was always a big kid, a big fat. I was a fat kid for a long time. I was a fat kid for a long time. Maybe one time in high school, I dipped 175, but then I plumped back up, and then never. And so it's been at least 15 years since I've even touched below 200. So, but now I find it a lot simpler because of the consistency. But anyways, the point of the running was I just love the mental aspect of it. And I was the only one doing it. Everybody kind of started thinking me running was crazy. I started walking for the 45-minute workout that I was doing for 75 hard, and then try to see. We have this profound kind of landmark here called Lake Eola in Orlando. It's downtown Orlando, and so it's when you go around, it's almost about a mile. And so I tried to see if I could even go half or a quarter of it. and then just see just little by little, just in the first couple of weeks. Then what really got me going was someone introduced me to the Nike Run Club app. That was profound because then it really gamified it for me. Because like obviously I'm doing my checking every day of like working out, but then when I started seeing when you can like add friends and you can see leaderboards, then I was like, yo, I was like, let me let me see. And then like the first time I used the app, I ran 5 miles. I'm like, I've never ran 5 miles in my life. But just the motivation just to beat the people in the leaderboard. And then it was like, okay, who's the best for the week? Who's the best for the month? Who's the best in the year? Then I started like, all right, let me see. And I'm like doing it every day. And I see other people now running every day. So I started climbing up the leaderboard. I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna blow past these people. And they already, like, I think when I started, like, they already had 100 miles on me. Never ran in my life. And I go 5 miles, 3 miles, 8, like, and I started just climbing. I didn't know anything about running, and I don't recommend it. Always consult with your doctor. But what you do, sometimes you got to dive into things and, like, try things out. And then started, like, all right, getting, like, actual running shoes, proper attire, to wear, like, clothing. And then the point is just started growing. Yeah, I started doing like 5 miles a day. Then I would do, and then I got into like a virtual competition with people. Like there was this girl that she was like in Jacksonville. She found me on Twitter and she saw me like posting about Nike Run Club. And then somehow we and her started going back and forth. Like I'll see her post miles. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to beat your miles. And we started doing that. And like during COVID, we started like pulling out like 150 miles in a month. And then like one time we clocked in like 200. Like, but the point is just like,
it's crazy. It's crazy, man. when you start to like change yourself.
Yeah.
When you like start becoming a better version of yourself, it's like you become a magnet.
Yeah.
And you start to attract other people that are on the same exact journey as you. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
How that works?
Yeah, it's because people thought I was crazy. Shoot, you thought I was crazy. Like, you was like, ain't no way I'm running. Ain't no damn way.
Yeah, because I don't like to run, man.
He was like, no, like, I don't want to lose weight. It was like all these things. I'm like, bro, you should run, bro. And he's like, nah, man, I'm not. Nah,
because
man.
The thing about me is, this was my excuse, right?
Yeah.
I was saying to myself, my frame is different from your frame.
Yeah.
The moment I run, I'm gonna lose pounds like that. Like I'm gonna knock those pounds off. My whole life I've been trying to gain weight, and I've finally gotten to like an aesthetic that I like.
Yeah.
Where I have the weight on. In my head I'm thinking if I'm always running consistently, I'm gonna lose the weight that I work so hard to gain. But then I realized is that if you're always running and not weight training and not eating the proper amount of calories a day, you're definitely gonna lose the weight. But if you're doing all the stuff on top of running, you'll be fine. It's gonna make you.
And I understood where you're coming from with that. So I didn't press it. I just like, you know what? This is my thing. Like, this is my thing. And so then like.
That's my thing now. So it's crazy, bro. If I don't run now, I feel like off.
Yeah.
Like I need to run.
Shoot, we ran before this podcast. So then like my mental clarity is great right now.
Yeah.
Like just usually I get up and I go do the run.
In the rain.
Yeah.
In the rain, man. No excuses.
Exactly.
Right?
We had to like get it done in the rain. So, but just the mental part of it, I think it was the most beneficial. The longer the runs, the more at peace you are and everything. Like sometimes I have headphones in. I don't even listen to music. I just like enjoy the sounds of the city and everything. I like to run outside. I'm not a particularly like a treadmill type of person. If I have to, I will. But necessarily, I like to kind of see sights, makes things more interesting, exploring my city, things like that.
But it's like I said, man, it's so crazy. Like when you embark on the journey to improve an area of your life, especially your health.
Yeah.
it flows into improving your mentality. Because, I mean, I don't know how long. So we also don't drink anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how long it's been since you had a drink, but my last drink was last year.
Yeah.
That's the last time I had a drink.
Basically the same thing.
And every time I tell people I don't drink, oh man, what do you? But they don't get it though. They don't understand. Like it gives you that extra inch.
It does.
That they don't have. That extra, that sharpness, that mental sharpness that they don't have when you don't drink.
Yeah. So it also makes it easier on those days that you definitely don't want to do anything and you don't want to get up and get things done. Because then when you're drinking and you're making bad decisions, you're just like sandbagging yourself of like the lack of sleep. Like some days I'm on 2 hours of sleep and I still got to get the workout done, or I'm having like a discussion with my significant other or something like that. And like it clouds my judgment or whatever. But then I don't feel like working out. No, we got to get it done. We got to keep showing up, and just if you're drinking and things like that, I just personally, I learned the stopping the drinking was because it's part of the 75 Hard program, not to drink for the 75 days.
Just became a habit.
But just became a habit because like my last drink was maybe December 13th, something like that last year.
Yeah.
But that was just because I rose my standard, and so I told myself until I'm making a certain amount of money and I'm not going to be like playing video games, I'm not going to be drinking, I'm saying? People think I'm crazy because I work in the entertainment industry, in the nightlife, and then everybody wants to give me drinks. I have tabs with bars. I mean, you understand that. Like,
yeah,
give us free drinks both, all the time.
We both work in that industry.
Yeah.
And it boils into be another success principle. You have to be your own person. You not follow people. You can't let people infringe on what you're doing, your standards. Like that's what I learned. Like, someone offers you something and hey man, I'm on this journey. I'm not drinking or I'm doing something right now and that's not what I'm about.
Yeah.
The ability to say no. People, that's a lot of people don't understand. That's a quality that a lot of people don't have. The ability to say no, the ability to not follow the crowd. Everyone's doing it, so I need to do it to fit in.
Yeah.
No, like you'd be surprised at the impact you'll have when people see that you literally march to your own drum, beat of your own drum. That you don't have to follow people.
Yeah, and to be honest, like you don't have to be kind of like shutting people like, no, I don't do that. Like, no, like.
It's not about that. It's like, yeah.
It's like, look, it's just
if they want to do it, they can do it, but you don't have to. It's not. You don't got to do it.
Yeah, people are definitely pushing, and people are well intentioned. You know what I'm saying? I've had people that are like, you know what, just enjoy your life. You shouldn't be doing this. You don't have to. You don't know how long you're gonna live. Like they use those type of things, and I'm like, I understand that, but like what I'm trying to do is set a standard for myself, and then even like people in the same as a DJ, like they work in the same field, like usually they use alcohol to kind of loosen up and then really kind of engage and be the best at their job, which is obviously I want to be great at my job. So then like I would think that, but then I was like, you know what? For the standards that I place for myself, and then I also want to make sure that what if the drink isn't readily available? Like, am I gonna like not be able to do my job? I should. So then I was like, you know what? When I'm tired, I feel uncomfortable, I get the job done. It doesn't matter how I feel. Again, this is because I learned this from fitness. So then I pour it into different things. So I got to be resourceful. I can't be relying on things like
it's never good to, I can attest to that and I can relate to that, because it's never good to be dependent on a substance to get you into the space where you can have fun.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand like how crazy that sounds. Like you have to drink to have fun. Yeah. You cannot just be out there, be yourself and have fun without having a drink.
Yeah. And I get it.
Like, I'm not saying I'll never have a drink ever again.
Yeah.
I'm just saying right now, it's just not what I'm about. I don't need it. Like it's not. I don't need it to have fun. I can go out, have fun, talk to people, have conversations, and not have had a drink. I can be myself.
Yeah, I mean, it did definitely took some time for me to kind of adjust that, and then to be like, you know what, I'm comfortable in my own skin where I don't need to rely on the drinking. And then I just feel like I've made better relationships with people somehow. Like I even have a friend of mine that he's like almost like the like unofficial mayor of downtown, and he's all about drinking. But when I told him like this is the standard and this is what I'm trying to do until I reach this goal,
The boy brings you. Like, he brings you like soda water in line, bro.
Like, he's my number one supporter. Yeah. And he's usually the one that blacks people out. Like he's the guy. He's the funnest guy to be around around downtown. Is my guy Dex. But he's been my number one. Like, hey, like don't ever catch it. If I ever catch a drink, I'm gonna slap it out your hand. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. I love somebody that actually is like understands what my goals are.
That's good, man. Yeah, man. So we've been on here for a little while. We just want to drag it out too long.
Riffing off here.
But tell us what your next thing is, right? Tell us what your next thing is, what you're doing, what you're up to right now, what your next thing is, what you're working on, and where they can find you.
Yeah, no, definitely. So first of all, my journey hasn't ended. I feel like I'm going to continue improving in different ways. I started my fitness journey by myself. Now I've hired a trainer to kind of really get like more like aesthetically how I want to like physically be, just for the extra accountability. Do I need it? No, because I could discipline myself. I know I can do those things, but then I just want to like just to have that mentorship, guidance. So I'm going to keep improving. I tell people I want to look like an Avenger.
Hey man,
I'm like, bro, I'm gonna show up to my girl. I'm not gonna be slacking.
Okay.
Power
to you, man.
Yeah. So, and then another thing is like I basically made it part of my brand that like I'm gonna be fit and healthy. Like that's gonna be like part of like who I am as a person and how you would think of me and interact with me. So that's definitely like part of my journey, and I'm always going to keep trying to improve. Have I perfected? No, not at all. Like it's always a constant improvement, but understanding fundamentally is just get the job done, do it every day, and then like the results will take care of themselves. I think it was very hard for me because for a long period of my life was like I'd be doing something for a month and a half. And I'm like, great, I don't even see no results. This is not worth it. And then I quit. By doing 75 hard on that fundamental level, like I didn't see results until like day 50, 60 of those 75. And then that's when I noticed. Like, and then like when I started seeing that people like, because when like you're doing things on your own, like, oh, you see the small improvements. But when other people's reaction is like, oh, that kind of cements that, So that was like another big thing that I like, as long as I can stick it out, I know I'll see results for sure. So I was just like, I'll put my head down, get the job done. But as for finding me, you can actually find me on Instagram, Michael D Flash, Michael D Flash, just one word, michaeldflash.com. I got some mixes there if you want to like listen to some music, kind of really high energy if you're a runner, whatever, hit the gym. However, if you need a little bit of motivation there, definitely got a podcast.
Mixes of fire, bro.
Appreciate that, man. And then I got a podcast called Flashdance Radio. A lot of new things kind of coming my way. Actually starting my producing journey, things like that. But everything's kind of cemented off the disciplines and then the things that I needed to like really kind of set that blueprint, follow that, and then go from there. And then I'll make those tweaks and adjustments as I go. But you definitely have to show up every day, fundamentally, regardless of how you feel.
All right. And man. I 100% agree with that, bro. Because I am living that journey myself. If you had one thing to leave the people with before we go, before we end the podcast, one thing that one nugget you can leave the guys with,
Jesus.
or whoever is watching this podcast right now, one thing you can leave them with that they can implement tomorrow. They can start using tomorrow to get, closer to where they want to be in life.
Man, you can do a lot of things. Reading is definitely one of those things. Like, I think part of reading and personal development is very critical to expanding yourself. Understand that, like, you have a capacity, but the more you work on yourself, you kind of expand on that capacity. Then that means more you can take in. You can take in more stress, but then you can take more success. You can take in more like of a load. You can be there more for your family. You be that rock. But that's all dependent on you. Because if you break and everybody depends on you, then that's a problem.
Yeah, it's the foundation. You're pretty much.
But I mean, I would say that, like, honestly, show up every day, work out every day, at least 30 to 45 minutes. I think that's the most critical. Like, get outside and go for a walk, even if it's just a walk, 45 minutes, regardless of the weather. And then just start there. And then you'll start like, once I've been doing this consistently. Let me try to eat a little bit better. Like, just start small. Like, don't
It becomes contagious, no?
Yeah, don't be doing drastic things. And I think, honestly, people seeing me do, like, even our friend Adrian, he lives in Minnesota. He's never been a runner. Now he's like clocking, hey man, I'm like running now. Like, I'm like, what is going on? Like, people just see you do your thing,
and they get inspired,
and then somehow they get inspired. Like, I've seen it in different people. They're like, I'm not a runner, but then they'll show up to the gym a lot more consistently, because of like what they see me like every day, But again, I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to do it every day. I didn't feel like running today, but guess what? There's never a workout you regret after doing.
Never.
Like,
never said, man, I did that workout. I can't believe I did that.
You're probably a little sore, but like, you never really regret the work. You know what I'm saying? I think one of the biggest things is, like, we always look for that dopamine hit of like feeling satisfaction. So like, instead of grabbing that cake or whatever, always like the way I could picture it is like that satisfaction you get from like graduating from something or you completing something. You do that with fitness every day, like you'll get that dopamine that just like, it's like, man, it sucks. I'm not eating, like, I don't get to drink, or I don't get to eat that cake or whatever. Like, at first it starts like sucking, but then like after a while, the fact of like, you're disciplined and then you're different, people treat you differently. And then like, you're like, oh shit, I could stand on my own 2 feet. And I'm like, I'm proud of that. And like, and I'm like, it just like, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, what I'm getting from what I hear is, from what you're saying, is not only what you just said, but also getting your brain used to being in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
Like, not always looking for comfortability. That's the problem I feel like I had in the past, and I feel like a lot of people can relate. You're always looking to be comfortable every minute. You want to be comfortable, because that's a human thing. We always want to be comfortable. And
it looks differently. You're looking for comfort in social media. You're looking for comfort in Netflix. Like, I mean, I'm nothing to knock Netflix or any streaming service, but the point is, you're trying to run away from life, and then you're always like, let me blanket myself. And like, I understand there's times for that, but then if you are pouring into yourself, and at least you get it done early in the morning, do whatever you want the rest of the day. But don't try to get that like dopamine hit and then like don't do anything.
Yeah. And I kind of learned this from, I don't know where I got it from, but it said to get comfortable. We've heard this before. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's literally what it's all about.
Didn't understand that until I actually was doing that.
Yeah.
Like, there you can hear all the greatest advice in the world, but when you're living that, then you're like, oh, okay, now I understand. Like now, like when I'm in uncomfortable situations, I don't react as like angrily. Like I'm like way more chill. I'm way more easygoing, and then those things were attributed to like me working on myself, and especially the fitness part. Like I ain't got time to be reacting to everything or whatever. So those uncomfortable situations, and then you start, it just really pours into a lot of things. So I think fitness is like very important. Like you don't have to be crazy. You don't have to be a crazy bodybuilder or like run the Boston Marathon or nothing like that. You know, just do your best. Point blank. Show up for yourself. And if you're doing your best and you know you're doing your best and you know you can account to that and you're like, you know what? I showed up today. I did what I could. Then you'll start like kind of checking those things off, and then you gain like confidence and holding yourself together. Like you just move differently. You act differently. I think the most benefit I got was like really the mental aspect. It like really like transformed everything about me, and I'm like, oh, if it's done that thus far, and I've only really been consistent for just a few months, like really like a few years now. Imagine like a decade of this or 2 decades of this. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of compound right there.
You know, and I'm not going like 3 hours to the gym. I go do my 1 hour, get it done, or my 45 minutes, get it done. If I'm going to the beach, I'll probably like show up like earlier to the beach. We've done that. We've like been friends. Hey, look, let's go to the beach. Let's go do this. I'm like, cool, but I'm gonna disappear for like an hour.
Yeah,
I'll be back. We're gonna be there for 4 hours.
Gotta check in, man.
We're still hanging out with all the friends. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. I'm just going to disappear for an hour. I'll be right back. I did that on vacation. Went to Puerto Rico, started running up and down, and like Puerto Rico and stuff like that. And I started making like a joke out of it, of like me running shirtless. That was like another thing. Like people are like, "Why the hell are you running shirtless?" I'm like, it's just I thought it was funny. And then I was like, oh, let me just go to different cities and start running. And then like checking that off in my Nike Run Club app. So like, you know, gamify things, whatever you got to do. Point is, get the job done. Get the job done. Show up for yourself. Show up for other people. However it is, do it every day.
Get the job done. That's what's up, man. Well, I mean, that was a great podcast. I hope you guys got value from that, because I know I did just by sitting here. And I see this man almost every single day. I talk to this man every single day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that was great, bro. That was great. Appreciate you coming on here, sharing your story, sharing your journey and what you got, you know, going on.
Yeah.
Guys, go ahead, definitely go over to his Instagram, his website, check out his mixes. They're dope. They'll help you get through your workouts. They help me get through my workouts and my runs. Like, I swear, like I listened to this guy's mix and I ran like a personal best. I'm not even lying. And I won't even kid you. Like in the Nike Run Club app, I ran my personal best while listening to your mix. So yeah, like I said, thank you for coming on here, man. I hope you guys got some value from that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share to somebody that you think this might help. This content information might help. And until next time, peace out.
All right, peace.
All right, brother. That was that.